1991, we had a civil war in our country, which lasted until 2002.
Everywhere you go, was all about rebels and civilians, a lot of killing and stuff. I saw my dad was like in the windows, like banging and like yelling. They said if I cried, they were gonna kill me. I was totally a hopeless child.
Sometimes I would like to rap like Busta Rhymes.
I saw the talent in him. I saw that I could develop that talent. It's time for me to pick up my instrument and start to play music to comfort my life.
You left your country to seek refuge in another man's land.
They were really doing their thing in the camp. They were stars in the camp. Everybody looked up to them.
The band on stage is the Refugee All-Stars.
Living like a refugee, now is not easy.
We didn't know that the Refugee All-Stars existed. We had no idea that we would find.
They took us on a tour to the other refugee camps. We played some shows, they took footages, and then brought these footages into America, and then put up the documentary film. Started screening this documentary film into film festivals, and then, we won an award.
One, now for the picking the picture tomorrow, and two, married not and we go dumb, let's see three. I use a listen, that's so them I use say four. Together, let's go bring us progress. From 10 to the way I'm on.
We started talking about this Leone TV project, and finally, it happened.
We wrote a project grant to go do a single workshop in Sierra Leone.
They were hopeless and street kids with no family.
Say they raped me on big sister.
Let me go, don't worry, I'll take care of you.
In this really short film that these really talented young adults put together, I think it's a really beautiful picture of what's happening in Sierra Leone right now.
Although things are difficult, we still stand up and say with courage we can make everything work again and get all what we have lost.
We have a feature-length doc called Sierra Leone's Refugee All-Stars. Refugee All-Stars is also my first film project. Our treatment for the film was to kind of explore how music is a carrier of culture and explore the role that it played in a refugee camp situation. And I was passionate about that.
My name is Black Nature. I come from Sierra Leone, which is a small and beautiful country in West Africa. In 1991, we had a civil war in our country, which lasted until 2002.
The young generation, we missed out a lot. The kids lost their schools and lost their parents, lost their families. If I think about the situation that I was living in the refugee camp, I was totally a hopeless child, with no hope in my life,
We didn't know that the Refugee All-Stars existed. We had no idea that we would find.
They came in the refugee camp and discovered us playing. So they came as friends. They're like, hey guys, we're musicians, we're from America, and we're looking for musicians so that we can jam, and play.
They came just as visitors. And when they came, they met us rehearsing. And then they just came in and said, oh, you guys, we are musicians too, but we like to hear you play. And then I said, okay. And they asked, do you have composition? I said, yes, we have many, many compositions. They said, well, we want to hear one. And I sang Living Like a Refugee.
You left your country to seek refuge in another man's land. You will be confronted by strange dialects. You will be fed with unusual diets. You got to sleep in a tarpaulin house, which is so hot. You got to sleep on a tarpaulin mat, which is so cold. Oh, we on time, living like a refugee. And now it's not easy.
They were really doing their thing in the camp. They were stars in the camp. Everybody looked up to them. They entertained people at night. They were community leaders.
So we started playing at that time, you know, we started playing for a larger amount of crowd because like the society in the refugee camp, you know, they started, you know, like coming around us because we were like the only people that can, like if we have a delegation in the camp and like we have people are coming, like the UNHCR personnel are coming to the refugee camp, they use us to bring in people, you know, because whenever people hear us, you know, start to play, then we see this large amount of crowd will come around and start to dance and forget about stuff and listening to what they would say.
They became attracted. They said, oh, you guys are really formidable. I think, you know, then later on they disclosed to us that they like to do like a documentary film.
Well, the members of the band at that time were Ruben Nkrumah, which is me, the leader, Francis John Langba, Efwa Grace, alias Auntie Grace, Alaji Jeffrey Kamara, alias Black Nature, Abdul Arahim Kamara, and Muhammad Bangura, alias Medu.
I was so excited because I want my music to be heard. They took us on a tour to the other refugee camps. We played some shows, they took footages, and then brought these footages into America, and then put up the documentary film. Started screening this documentary film into film festivals, and then we won an award in Los Angeles here. And that's how it all started. People started knowing about us, and we started touring, you know.
Some people them in the block say them not they want sweet soda soup. Some people them in the block say them not they want sweet soda soup. Soda soup they well they close so. Would I they want spam olive? Would I they want red soda? Would I they want Sarah soap? Would I they want sweet log soap? Would I they want sweet imperial bowl? So.
We had a really amazing connection with these guys from the beginning. From the beginning of that meeting, the first of 3 production trips, we just started realizing that this is a really amazing story. We got more and more committed to it. And then when we started applying with our films to go to film festivals, we actually sponsored the lead singer and one of the other members to come out for the first festival. And we wound up, that was at AFI, and we won the Grand Jury Award. And then after that, the festival invitations really started pouring in, including South by Southwest. At South by Southwest, Marco Werman, who is the journalist that does a lot of the kind of social interest and kind of music and culture stories for BBC The World, was programming the World Music Stage, and he'd kind of heard about the story. So the film got in, and then the entire band was invited to come over.
Now this group has become Truth, And when we come to Miami, I think we find Miami as a paradise. Ruben, the hard work. Try by all means for this particular program to come successful. Did well for us.
I come with my culture from Africa, and I see the beautiful Africa, my country. This thing helps to bring peace in the world. Because if I appreciate the culture, I will appreciate my country. We speak the same language, and there will be peace and harmony.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is unbelievable.
Smile, smile. Are you thinking about some positive changes? We need some positive changes.
I was born in, and I remember I looked on my right hand side, and I saw my dad was like in the window, was like banging and like yelling and crying.